This event started on Twitter with Governor Earl Ray Tomlin's initial tweet a little after 5:30 that day. And it became a Twitter event. It became a social media event. And I think it's one of the best examples I've seen of the way social media very quickly engages large numbers of people and can give quick snippets of information, updates to a continuing story in a very effective way.
It was extremely bizarre. I think that one of the things that makes a story like this particularly unique is that oftentimes whenever you're reporting something happens and you either go there or you make phone calls and are interacting with the situation but not necessarily involved. With this, anyone that lived in Charleston or the 9 counties that were affected were directly involved, including all the media.
These were people all from the same general area, but others who just had an interest in the area, getting information very quickly through a non-traditional sense. The challenge for us was figuring out the information we were seeing on Twitter. Was it accurate? And how could we verify it before we then shared it with our larger audience? And I think it really showed us how important it is to monitor and verify.
I think West Virginia Public Broadcasting established itself in the digital and social media sphere in some capacity because of the chemical spill. The role of Twitter was, it's impossible to imagine what that situation would have been like without social media, especially Twitter. I think we jumped in following by the hundreds as the days went on. And again, that was a mix of methods of aggregating or retweeting certain trustworthy sources or blasting out information about where water would be available, clean water would be available. It's impossible to imagine what it would be like without it.
We would monitor our social media accounts, we'd monitor Twitter, we'd monitor our Facebook account, the comments that would come in from our viewers, and then we would verify it with our trusted sources in various departments at both the state, the county, the local level, and then we'd be able to share accurate information because when you get into a problem is when people don't verify.
People are interested, they're interested, and this might give them a little bit of control, a little bit of understanding.
That's the power of technology and citizen journalism. I think we're going to see the same power of that technology in citizen science and with censor journalism because it puts tools and technology in the hands of folks in a really empowering way.
There really wasn't a lot of information to be had in the beginning. There wasn't the research on crude MCHM. And we didn't know what the protocols and procedures were for shutting down a water plant of the size of West Virginia American Water's facility near Charleston along the Elk River. We just didn't know those things. And it took asking questions, investigative reporting, and a real sort of dogged determination to find those answers in order to get there. I think now, knowing what we know from that event, moving forward, we can apply a lot of those principles.
It's Charleston, West Virginia, right? What does someone in New York City care about what happens in Charleston? Maybe not much. But if something like this would have happened in New York City, the entire world would have been paying attention to it. And they would have been hungry for every detail. Granted, part of that's a matter of scale and population and how many people were affected, but it's still a third of a million people. 300,000 is a gigantic number.